This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have an older Whirlpool gas dryer. This is a series 70, I believe, and it's making a rumbling noise, pretty loud, so we're going to be replacing a few parts. I'm going to use a paint scraper to press in on a clip here to loosen up this bottom panel, and I'll do it on the other side and then lift off the panel. That's going to expose a couple of screws below the front panel that I can loosen up so I can take the front panel off. I'm just going to put this little clip back into position. This clip helps to hold on that bottom panel. So what's probably making noise are the support rollers that hold up the back of the tumbler. I'm going to unloosen a couple of screws here on the right and left side. We don't have to take them out, we can just unloosen them, and then that's going to allow us to lift the front panel off. But next thing we'll have to do is use our paint scraper to loosen up a couple of clips here at the top, and then we can hinge the top off. We did remove two Phillips head screws already that were underneath the filter housing, and we hinged this up. Then there's a couple of more screws that are holding the front panel on at the top right and top left hand corner. We're going to remove those, and then we should be able to lift up the panel off of the bottom screws, just lift up by about an inch, and we can get the front panel off. And then we want to take the two spade connectors off of the door switch, which is on the front panel, and we can get the door, or we can then get the front panel kind of out of the way, and then we can remove the tumbler. To remove the tumbler, we just have to take the belt off of the idler wheel and off of the motor pulley. So I'm going to push the idler wheel to my right, to the right hand side, taking the tension off. I can take it off the motor pulley. I'm going to lift up on the belt to get the tumbler out of there. And before I do the repair, I'll clean up the area a little bit of the excess lint. And you can use a vacuum cleaner with a small attachment, works great. If not, you could use even a paintbrush just to loosen up all the dust. Might be good to wear a dust mask too as you're doing this so you don't inhale any of this dust. And I'm going to get as much of this out of the way, especially on the motor, and then we're going to have a nice cleaner working surface area to remove these support rollers. Sometimes the support rollers just get kind of worn out, they start squeaking or they start causing a rumbling noise. So we're going to remove this one screw here from the bottom support for this left hand side roller. We take this clip off the front, we'll just pull it off. And then there's a little plastic clip holding it on, and we can use a small screwdriver to pry it off. I'm just using my pocket knife, and the kit comes with brand new ones, so if you damage this clip, it's okay. Just be careful not to hurt your fingers. I'm going to pull that off, and then we'll pull the support roller off. We'll make sure that the axle here is nice and clean. There's a little bit of hairs hooked to it. Here's the new support rollers. That's the part number. It comes with two of them. There we go. And you can get these online pretty cheap. These dryers are great. We still have ours at home that we've had for now. This is our 25th year. It's pretty much the same model as we're working on here, and they just go and go. You have to replace little parts like this now and then. So we're going to slip that new one on the axle, and then we'll put the little plastic clip on that holds it, and then we're going to put the support back on too. We're going to put this metal support in position, and there's a little metal clip that goes in front of it that just presses on. You just put it over with the concave side away from you. And then you're going to put a screw in at the bottom to hold that in position. So the left hand side's all done. The right hand side's pretty similar procedure. We're going to use pliers to pull off the metal clip, kind of twist to pull it towards you. And then we'll pry off that plastic clip, and we can take that wheel right off. So when you get noises in your dryer, a lot of things can cause it. Sometimes it's the support rollers that wear out very commonly. Sometimes there can be a shredded belt where the belt part of it's broken off and it makes a noise. It can also be the blower wheel is coming loose on the motor shaft, and that can make a rumbly noise. A lot of different things can cause it. This is probably one of the main characters here that cause the rumbly noise. So we're putting on this other support wheel. We're going to put on the plastic tab, and then we'll put the metal one on. We're just going to push that on, and then the two support wheels are done. The kit we got also comes with a new idler wheel. An idler wheel sometimes can squeak. They usually won't cause a rumbling noise, but they can cause a squeaking noise. So this is the part number for the new idler wheel. It's pretty uncommon that these will be the cause of your noise, but it can happen. I'm going to put that new idler wheel in position, and that's what helps keep the belt nice and tight by spring tension. And this also has a new belt that comes with it. That's the part number. I take it out. I'm just going to compare it to the old belt. Old belt's in pretty good shape, but I'm going to replace it with this new one while I'm in there. And I often keep the old one, though, as a spare, just in case you need to replace it. You can't get to the parts store in time. You have your old belt you can still use. So I'm noticing it is exactly the same length. So I'll go ahead and put the new belt on the tumbler, and I'll use that as a way to easily pick up the tumbler, kind of like a handle to put it back in. I got to make sure I load the tumbler back in with the felt side facing in toward the dryer and the smaller hole facing out toward me. And I'm going to put this onto its support rollers, and I want to make sure that the felt piece here makes a nice seal against the back, against the rear bearing, and that the felt seal isn't trapped or pinched when I get it back on. So I want to spin the tumbler a couple times, make sure it's in good position. It's sitting on the support wheels, support rollers, and the felt seal is not pinched underneath, but it's riding on that rear bearing surface. You get the belt in position, and then I'll lay down so I have a better look, and I'll put the belt underneath the idler wheel, and then using one hand I'll push the idler wheel really far to my right. I'll take the little loop underneath, and I'll lift that over onto the smaller wheel there on the motor pulley. Get that on top, and then I'm going to grab the tumbler, and I'm going to kind of support it in the front and turn it. And as I turn it, I want to make sure that that belt stays on. I don't want to reassemble the whole dryer and then have the belt slip off when I start it. So I want to do a revolution or two to make sure the belt's in position. I can still manipulate it easily. So it looks pretty good. So we've really replaced the parts that cause a rumbly noise, so I think this will probably cure our problem. And these last a long time. You might have to do this maybe at the 10-year mark. Alright, so we're putting the front panel back in position. We're putting the spade connectors back onto the door switch. That thing cuts power if you open the door. We're setting it down onto the two bottom screws to hold it up. Go ahead and tighten those two bottom screws. We're going to add this little clip here at the top to hold those wires in position for the door switch. Tighten up those two screws at the top. top left, top right, that hold on the top of the front panel. And then we can hinge the top panel back down and push it down hard so it locks in on its clips. I'm going to plug it in and just listen to it, see if it sounds any better. So I'll go ahead and press start. So that sounds really good, really smooth. I'm going to go ahead and put the two Phillips head screws back in on underneath the filter housing. Be careful you don't drop them inside there. Take your time. And then we can go ahead and add the filter back in. And that's it. And you'll have a nice, smooth sounding dryer again. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance.